Calgary is hammered by a major summer storm.
With that hail and all that, you couldn't even see probably 10 feet in front of you.
Branches ripped off, some trees uprooted. Now the cleanup begins.
Our neighbor's giant tree snapped and smashed our van.
Plus, Albertans lead the country in feeling financial stress.
Money management is a piece of the puzzle.
What you can do to reduce anxiety about the cost of living. And a first-time golfer pulls off an ace.
I just kind of thought everyone got a hole-in-one, like maybe every few rounds.
Nope. This K-Country Snack Shack employee does what golfers only dream of.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Tara Nelson.
It has been pouring buckets all night and all day, and tonight a rainfall warning is in effect for the city of Calgary. This is a live look at the Bow River at the Peace Bridge. There aren't too many pedestrians out there tonight. 12 millimeters fell yesterday and much more than that today. Hello and thank you for joining us. That rain is leading to higher flow in the Bow and the Elbow rivers. So city officials have adjusted the Glenmore Reservoir's levels to ensure that moderate flow increases downstream. They say some areas along the Bow and the Elbow could see as much as 80 millimeters of rain, but officials don't think there will be any flooding.
For a summer rainfall event, it'll raise our river levels back to sort of more typical spring levels. So what you would see on the rivers on a normal June day, maybe a little bit higher than that. Just take caution with pets and small children when the rivers are flowing at higher levels.
If you're out for a run in this weather, a couple of pathway underpasses will be closed along the Elbow River. The Glenmore Reservoir will be refilled later this week in case we get drier conditions later this summer. Now, it's been less than a year since a massive hailstorm rained destruction on Calgary. So when this massive hailstorm blew through the city last night, it had a lot of people worried. While this storm made a mess out of a lot of trees and gardens, it thankfully left cars and houses mostly unscathed. Here's Kevin Green.
This is what it looked like as hail poured from the sky Sunday night. And this is what it sounded like as hailstones the size of loonies whacked into houses in Mount Pleasant. For the most part, the houses and cars were spared damage, at least from the hail. But the wind felled this 20-meter-tall green ash tree, toppling it onto Aaron Stevens' camperized minivan.
You think maybe a branch here or there might come down, or, yeah, you expect some hail damage, but no, I've not seen a huge tree like this just snap.
The hardest hit areas were in northwest Calgary. The hail cut through gardens like a combine and stripped branches off trees.
With that hail and all that, you couldn't even see probably 10 feet in front of you. Just, yeah. It come up so fast, 5 minutes it took.
Just kind of out of nowhere, the wind picked up and just huge hailstones start coming down, and yeah, just kind of caught everybody off guard. A couple of trees went down in the neighborhood, and yeah, just lots of damage, that's for sure.
Oh, the wind has come in like 60, 70 mile an hour or more, I guess. Knocked one of my trees down, and the backyard just looks like a war zone now.
Leaving residents like Shauna Langenberger cleaning up between breaks in Monday's continuing rainfall.
Trees are just shredded. Our spruce trees, which are, 50 years old, probably 50% of the volume of the tree is now laying on the ground. And so we're out here doing a big cleanup. It's devastating.
Big mess. Kevin is in Mount Pleasant tonight. Kevin, I'm sure insurance companies were bracing themselves today, but it sounds like they're getting off pretty easy on this one.
Tara, I called a half dozen insurance brokers in Calgary today. Not one of them said they'd had a single call about hail damage from last night's storm. But someone's likely going to get a call about that green ash tree that's cut up over there because it fell over onto this van right here. And the person or the people that are going to get that call is likely the city of Calgary because they own the tree and all these other green ash trees down here. The reason this one fell over was because an animal had burrowed inside it and it was rotting from the inside. Now, the city also says it has not yet had a chance to assess the total value of the damages to its urban canopy. Tara?
Okay, Kevin, thank you for that. Gina joins us tonight, too. Gina, we'll get a bit of a break from all this rain tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right, Tara. I mean, as it stands right now, though, still seeing a pretty steady light rain out here. And temperatures are chilly, too. We did manage to get to a high of 13 degrees today. That is 10 degrees below seasonal for this time of year. And, yeah, that's because of this system that's really swept through. We're sitting at 12 right now. Winds noticeable for sure. And this system, this rain is moving from a north to south direction. So, yes, we're still under that rainfall warning for now, but we should start to see the rain subside here in Calgary a little later on this evening. When we look at that day planner for you, you can see right around 11 o'clock is when this should all come to an end. Maybe a trace shower tomorrow morning, but that sun will work its way back up into the sky and get us to a better yet below seasonal high of 18 with that sunshine.
Thank you, Gina. The Calgary Stampede has officially wrapped for another year, and it fell just short of an overall attendance record. Officials say it was a success, but they admit some changes need to come to address overcrowding and safety concerns. Here's Jordan Canigan.
The soggy Stampede cleanup is underway. Crews are dismantling and loading up equipment after more than 1.4 million people passed through the gates this year. Overall attendance falling just 7,600 people short of a new record.
That's not the focal point. The focal point needs to be the experience we are providing on park. Because if everyone who comes on this park has an outstanding experience, they're more likely to come back in the future.
This year's event didn't go off without its challenges. On Saturday, a horse was euthanized after suffering a broken leg during the Rangeland Derby.
We have asked law enforcement to investigate what happened leading to this animal's death. There are animal protection laws in this province that prohibit causing distress to animals, and rodeo events should not be considered exempt from that law.
Safety for Stampede goers is also a concern. On Tuesday, 3 teenagers were assaulted and stabbed on the Midway, and overcrowding at Coke Stage concerts has officials considering changes.
The Coke Stage presentation, whether that involve additional crowd control measures or evaluating which artists are placed on the Coke Stage.
But there's no doubt the Stampede is a top draw in the country.
The greatest demand came from within Canada, with over half of the hotel rooms sold coming from Canadians all over the country. The other points of demand were growth from Australia, Mexico, Central America.
Organizations are benefiting too. Leftover food from the 5 restaurants at GMC Stadium are being donated and distributed to dozens of community groups to hand out to those with food insecurity.
We serve over 564,000 Calgarians in Calgary throughout the year, and this donation will go to over 444,000 of our clients that we serve.
And Jordan joins us from near the park tonight. So Jordan, what are the other changes that the Stampede could be coming to Stampede?
Yeah, Tara, it's really around the concerts and the safety issues that were brought up in that story. And the Stampede will actually be sending some representatives to other outdoor events and concerts fairly soon here to see how it is done in other jurisdictions and see what can be brought back here to make sure it is done better at the Calgary Stampede. Now, the grounds themselves will also be changing quite drastically over the next several years. A new hotel will be built. Of course, the event center will be completed in a couple of years as well. And then the Saddle Dome will be demolished. With that demolition will come 11 acres of additional space that will come to the footprint of the grounds. That extra space much needed as Calgary continues to grow and attendance soars. Tara?
Okay, Jordan, thank you. Alberta NDP leader Naheed Nenshi called out the Premier today while announcing a new initiative. The Better Together Summer Initiative pushes back on separatist sentiments and encourages Albertans to consider what being part of a strong Canada looks like. Nenshi says Premier Daniel Smith is pushing a separatist agenda by making it easier to hold a referendum on separation. He also condemns withdrawing from the Canada Pension Plan and replacing the RCMP. The Better Together tour will see NDP members meet with Albertans in small and mid-sized communities this summer.
So this summer, we're putting Danielle Smith on notice as her government and her caucus crumble around her, as her support falls further and further. We are here to let her know that Albertans believe in Canada.
Nenshi is now MLA for Edmonton Strathcona after winning the seat with over 80% of the vote. Gritej Singh Brar was also sworn in today as MLA for Edmonton Ellerslie.
You're watching watching CTV News, Calgary.
Well, she has been the talk of the links in Kananaskis country, where golfers and staff are green with envy. 23-year-old Emma Strong sunk her first ever hole-in-one on the par 3 fourth hole on the Mount Lorette course. The odds of doing that are 1 in 12,500. And here's the thing. She's never even played golf in her life before, which makes the feat all the more spectacular, and her co-workers agree. The thrilling moment was posted to the Kananaskis Golf Course social media pages. Strong is from Manchester, England. She picked up summer work at the course's snack shack. At first, she really didn't even understand what the fuss was all about. She thought hole-in-ones happened all the time.
I started telling people and told my brother plays golf, and no one could believe it, and they were all getting annoyed at me, and I'm like, oh, okay, you've never had one either. Oh, maybe it is a bit rarer than I thought.
I think it's so typical of golf too that, you know, she gets a hole-in-one on not only on her first round, but literally the first par 3 of her first round.
Okay, so how did the rest of the round go? Emma says, not that great. That's golf for you. But she says she is enjoying her newfound fame all the same. Just ahead, a major privacy breach. A complaint has been lodged with the College of Physicians and Surgeons. But just how often does health information get accidentally shared with the wrong person? And stress is building for Canadians who are finding life a little too expensive, and it is highest for Albertans. That story is just ahead. Plus, if you have a news tip for us, you can text us anytime at 10400. Two Calgarians say their privacy has been breached after their personal health information was shared during a records mix-up by the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Alberta. The college claims this is a rare situation, but admits it is a concerning one. It was only made aware of the breach this morning by us at CTV News, and now it has opened an investigation. Tyson Fedor reports.
It was not how Tiffany Matson and Curtis Thiessen planned to meet.
It's signed by the hearings director, but the information is not my information. It's his information.
Last week, Matson was awaiting a board decision from the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Alberta for a complaint that she had filed against a medical professional. Instead, she received a cover letter with her information, but the decision for someone else's case.
Once I moved on to the second page, I started to notice they were talking about a physician that was not the physician in which I had a complaint about. And as I read further down, I noticed that there was another patient's name. This was not my decision. This was not my appeal. This had nothing to do with me.
That person was Thiessen. So Matson sought him out to deliver his personal medical information. Thiessen also received his decision by mail, but was stunned to see a copy had also gone to Matson.
When you get a cold call like that, someone's asking about personal information, it's kind of like, who are you? I was rather kind of taken aback by that. I was like, that's my personal and private information.
Thiessen questions how this happened and now worries about other medical mix-ups.
It's an egregious mistake, right? And I think somebody needs to know exactly right now what's going on, because how many other victims are there out there?
In 2024, there were 10 reported privacy breaches to the college, none that met the Privacy Commissioner's reporting requirements.
If this is a part of a broader pattern, or there are other individuals affected, then that's where potentially there'd be a role for the Privacy Commissioner to review the information handling practices of the college and to make recommendations.
Matson complained to the college and finally received her report late Monday afternoon by email. She's still unsure where her mailed copy might be.
I'm terrified of where my information is. This is really confidential information that I don't want out there floating around.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
The college says it takes protecting Albertans' privacy very seriously. It adds that if any physician or member of the public suspects a privacy breach, they should contact them immediately. Alberta Health Services is warning the public about 2 people with measles who separately visited a number of public places in the Calgary area. The potential exposures happened at the Travelers Inn in Northwest Calgary between July 8th and 9th, the Banff Gondola on July 9th, and several automotive businesses that same day. Then on the 11th, one person went to the South Health Campus Emergency Department. The Riverbend Campground in Okotoks is also on the list. Anyone who visited these places should self-monitor for measles. The dates and times times of all of the events are on our website. And Alberta now has more cases of measles than the entire United States. Alberta Health recorded 30 new cases since Friday, bringing the province-wide total to 1,314. There's a total of 1,288 cases. In the U.S., the CDC updates the number of cases every Wednesday, so this number represents how many cases there were 5 days ago. Provincial data shows 87% of people who have been infected across Alberta are unvaccinated. Alberta Health Services says the measles vaccine is highly effective at preventing infection and complications.
This is CTV News, Calgary.
In Manitoba, more than 12,000 residents have been forced to leave their homes in the second wave of evacuations this summer. Provincial officials provided an update this afternoon on the current wildfire situation.
As of today, there are 122 active fires burning in Manitoba. We've had 297 fires to date, and the 20-year average for today would be 217. Fire danger is moderate to high across the province today.
8 communities have been evacuated with no new orders to leave issued in the past 24 hours. There are currently 18 states of local emergency in that province. A wildfire in eastern Manitoba is now making its way into Ontario. There are about 60 wildfires in the northwestern part of our province, a quarter of them out of control. Hundreds of people from First Nations are out of their homes. Dry conditions are contributing to the moderate to high wildfire risk in much of southern BC. In Princeton, one fire is threatening homes, while 2 more are visible in the community. The August Lake fire came so close to homes in Princeton, dozens of people were forced to evacuate their homes over the weekend. They were all allowed back today. Tensions remain high as 84 properties remain on evacuation alert, and wind is in the forecast to the east.
Just a big plume of smoke south of us, plus the fire here next to us, the fire down by Caramias in the cathedral area. You know, it kind of feels like you're being boxed in.
Our emergency operations center is actively monitoring the weather within the area. As you know, the winds are able to change the direction of wildfires pretty quickly.
While this wildfire season hasn't been exceptional in BC, nationally it is already shaping up to be the second most severe on record. Today marks 25 years since Canada's 4th deadliest tornado. On July 14th, 2000, an F3 tornado hit the Green Acres Resort Campground near Pine Lake, which is southeast of Red Deer. The tornado killed 12 people and injured more than 100. It touched down around 7 p.m. with 300-kilometer-an-hour winds lasting about half an hour. It destroyed homes, farms, and 400 campsites, causing an estimated $50 million in damage. Wow, let's bring Gina back in now. Certainly, just to go back to the wildfire situation, this rain is a help there.
It certainly is, and it's a bit ironic, I guess, with the rain we're seeing. There's still air quality watches and advisories in effect for some areas right here in Alberta and into Saskatchewan still, even with this rain. Let's talk about that system that pulled through yesterday. We do have some wind speed values issued by Environment and Climate Change Canada. So the strongest wind speeds from that storm cell were to the east of us, south of Cypress Hills and Claresholm, hitting 115 kilometers an hour. Calgary here, we saw at the airport those winds recorded up to 93 kilometers an hour. Really packed a punch yesterday, fast moving system. And now we have that second wave of rain that's really moving through today. Start to taper off later this evening, but right now partly cloudy conditions out there and still that light drizzle outside, sitting at 12 degrees currently. Let's take a look at those watches and warnings. Like I said, we have that rainfall warning in effect for us and the surrounding area, but you can see to the east of us, there is that air quality advisory still in effect. And we do have a bit of an easterly surface wind moving through Calgary, so you might even be smelling a little bit of smoke mixed in with the rain right now. And then we have those severe thunderstorm watches in effect for places in the Kootenays. So much happening on the radar satellite here, but you can see all this rain that we dealt with today is moving into north to south direction. So Lethbridge still expecting a good amount of rainfall later this evening. And I just wanted to show how wide-ranging this rainfall system is, from southern BC all the way spanning into southern Manitoba. So a very widespread system starting to ease up in Calgary here. When we look at our temperatures, again, 12 in the city, very cool today in Lethbridge, Pincher Creek, and Medicine Hat. Everywhere is below seasonal for today. If you're joining us a little bit to the north, 15 in Red Deer, 18 over in Coronation. Looks like some of our stations might not be reporting a lot this hour, but we are seeing that theme of just below seasonal temperature values with that frontal system that moved in. Tomorrow we'll get up to 18 degrees, so back closer to seasonal. Wednesday is looking pretty good too, but you can see in the regional forecasts here, it's Thursday that we'll start to see our second round of unstable weather move through. So we'll talk about that a bit more in our next hit, but for now, we climb out of these cooler temperatures by midweek. Then it starts to subside here in your Action Furnace 5-day forecast right around Thursday and heading into next weekend.
Alberta leads the country in residents feeling overwhelmed by their financial situation, and an estimated 1.8 million Albertans say they are close to financial insolvency. A new report from MNP shows that people in our province are bogged down in debt, but a local nonprofit says there are options for help. Alicia Fieldberg reports.
The high cost of living and economic uncertainty surrounding tariffs is weighing on Canadians, but especially Albertans.
So it's devastating, stress. It's tough. The life is tough.
Albertans are more likely than any other province really to report feeling anxious or stressed about their financial situation.
The latest MNP Consumer Debt Index shows 41% of Albertans polled say they feel anxious about their finances. And nearly half of Albertans say they are $200 or less away from financial insolvency, which is up since the last report.
Whether it's a flood or a fire or a change in the economy, there's always something that seems to be happening here in Alberta.
While about 1/3 of Albertans say their debt situation is excellent, there has been a spike in the number of Albertans worried that interest rates could drive them toward bankruptcy. Even if the interest rates drop, 46% of Albertans are still concerned about their ability to repay debt.
It's not always low income. It's not always people who have spent too much and lived a really frivolous lifestyle. We're certainly seeing a lot more folks who have tried to keep their businesses going.
Calgary nonprofit Momentum says they've worked with thousands of people to change their financial situations.
You're not alone, and you're not necessarily doing things wrong. So a lot of the affordability issues that you might be experiencing at a household level, they are impacted by huge systemic factors.
It hosts free money management workshops every Monday night, offering advice and providing a community of support for the growing number of people feeling the financial pinch.
I have to do more hours to be able to afford my bills. I'm not talking about luxury. Luxury doesn't exist in here, you know? For me, in Calgary right now, if you pay your rent and your phone bill and everything, you're the hero of the heroes.
Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
And you can find out more about the free money management workshops on our website. By the way, the Bank of Canada's next interest rate announcement is expected on July 30th. Donald Trump threatens Russia with massive tariffs. Just ahead, he wants an end to the conflict with Ukraine, and he's going to help Ukraine better defend itself in the meantime. Plus, packing on the pounds, a sharp increase in obesity for Canadians. There are rising tensions with Russia after Donald Trump sent Vladimir Putin a pointed message today threatening 100% tariffs if the war on Ukraine isn't resolved within the next 50 days. Trump also revealed a deal to supply weapons to Kyiv through NATO. CTV's Abigail Beeman reports.
I think this is a chance at getting peace.
A bold claim and a big threat.
But we're very, very unhappy with them, and we're going to be doing very severe tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days. Tariffs at about 100%.
U.S. President Donald Trump hosted NATO top boss Mark Rutte in the Oval Office, promising billions in military equipment, including Patriot missile defense systems purchased from the U.S. by NATO allies.
Germany, massively, but also Finland and Denmark and Sweden and Norway, the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, Canada. They all want to be part of this.
The Patriot system is viewed as kind of being a top tier one. So not just that he's going to provide support, which is a change in and of itself, but also that he's going to provide support with pretty advanced weaponry is beneficial.
Just ahead of the Oval Office meeting, President Volodymyr Zelensky hosted the U.S. Special Envoy for Ukraine in Kyiv.
Very positive for both countries, and just now we spoke about air defense.
You wouldn't want to be Zelensky in this because you don't know which day, the
United States is going to support you. But it's a good news story for helping them thwart the advance.
In terms of sanctions, Russia has already been hit hard and U.S.-Russia trade is way down. But experts say secondary tariffs on other Russian buyers would make a difference.
When you see the largest importers of China and India being pummeled, that's where it's really going to hit Russia.
Separately, there is a U.S. Senate bill that looks at imposing 500% secondary tariffs on Russia. Trump said today that may not be necessary. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Donald Trump will be making his second state visit to the UK in September. Buckingham Palace confirming today that the U.S. President and First Lady Melania Trump will visit for 3 days from September 17th to 19th. They'll be hosted by the King and Queen at Windsor Castle. The invitation was delivered by the UK Prime Minister in February during a meeting at the White House. No American president has been invited for a second state visit. Trump's first one was in 2019 when he was hosted by the late Queen Elizabeth II. A new study looking at obesity rates finds the pandemic was not good for waistlines. Those rates, particularly among young adults, rose faster than they had in the previous decade. It raises concerns about the potential long-term health impacts. Here's CTV's John Vinavalley-Rao.
During COVID, as lockdowns took hold, this was Ontario's premier offering up his famous cheesecake recipe at a time when plenty of people were turning to comfort foods to help them get through the stresses of the pandemic.
Stay safe, stay healthy.
But the pandemic's disruptions to daily life appear to have taken a serious toll on waistlines, with obesity rates growing faster than they had in the previous decade.
It's an entire societal issue that we need to take a look at and think about what that impact of the pandemic has been for everybody.
The study, led by researchers at McMaster, analyzed data over 15 years from nearly 750,000 adults and was based on the body mass index. It found obesity rates went from 25% in 2009 to nearly 33% by 2023. With the rate of increase doubling during the pandemic to roughly 1 percentage point each year.
Especially for young people and for women, the rates of obesity rose at a much higher rate than for other groups during the pandemic.
Obesity can bring with it a higher risk of serious health issues, such as type 2 diabetes and certain kinds of cancer. It's not certain exactly why the rates increased. At the time, schools, gyms, and workplaces closed.
Everybody has to have Chips Ahoy.
And people did spend a lot more time at home, near to their kitchen.
Why would people have more of an intake? Maybe because of the isolation, maybe because of depression. So all these challenges could have led to greater amounts of calories going in.
The study authors suggest the stress of job loss or added responsibilities for caregiving may have also played a role, and they think it's something that deserves more research. John Vinavalley-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Ozempic and its sister drugs are set to become more affordable. Both Ozempic and Wegovy contain the active ingredient semaglutide, and the Canadian patent is expiring in January. Canada would become the first country in the world where generic versions could be sold for much less, making it much more accessible to the general public. Ozempic was primarily used to treat diabetes before becoming wildly popular as a weight loss drug. A marmot is stealing hearts online. It's because he's a little bit chonky, but people are here for it. That story is next. A marmot in Kamloops is stealing hearts and going viral after a local photographer spotted something a little unusual. Taylor Borth was exploring MacArthur Island Park on July 6th when she came across a marmot that was anything but average. The rodent's rotund figure stopped her in her tracks and prompted a photo shoot that has gone viral. Borth says it's now her favorite wildlife shot.
There are marmots everywhere, and I usually don't pay them any attention, but as I was rounding the corner of a pond, I gasped because I see this mega fat marmot sitting there, and I just couldn't help but take a picture.
Now, we don't know whether this is a pregnant female or maybe a male that has been overfed by visitors, which is not allowed. WildSafe BC reminds people don't feed the wildlife, even if they're this photogenic. I mean, that is one cute marmot.
I know, it's tempting. I just want to give him a little cracker, too. But yes, it looks like he's doing just fine.
We're absolutely not body shaming him.
Yeah, exactly.
He is cute.
Love
it. Yes. Well, surfers in New Zealand captured some incredible video of this guy riding the waves recently.
boy. Only one out.
Yeah, that's a seal making the most of a swell at a beach on the North Island of New Zealand. The videographer says he thought it was a person at first, bobbing in and out of the waves toward the shoreline, but then he realized it was a seal who was just having a ball out there by himself. Apparently in New Zealand, there's fur seals and leopard seals and southern elephant seals. They're very typically found off the coast.
I aspire to do this when I body surf, and I can't even pull it off like this seal does. Well done.
Very good. Well, have you ever had a haircut that you just cried, like you just hated it?
Yes. Oh, wow.
Oh, this poor alpaca just got back from its annual shearing. It looks a little unsure of himself. Like, I think even he realizes this might not be my best look.
It's very, what's the word, trimming, I guess?
Like
slimming?
His body looks very slim. I agree. I agree. Now, it may be because his head is massive, but, you know.
It's looking like a Q-tip.
Yes, a little bit. He needs a coat.
Yes. Yeah, he looks cold.
Yeah. Well, many of us think that we're good at hiding our true feelings, but sometimes your face betrays you. This pup does not want its paws wiped, though he knows he has to have it done. He offers up the paw, but check out the face. He really can't stop himself from, like, just growling just a little tiny bit.
He's having a little bit of a pout.
Yeah, he's
but,
like, I don't like this. I know I have to do it, but I don't have to like it.
Classic golden retriever. This is the maddest I've ever seen a golden retriever, and it's still adorable.
Yes, agreed. Still to come, we are getting a better picture of Mark Carney's assets accumulated before he became Prime Minister. The Conservatives say it all adds up to the potential for a conflict of interest. That story's just ahead.
Welcome back. A pretty gloomy looking shot here through our Skywatch weather camera. We'll be dealing with these mainly cloudy conditions throughout the overnight hour, but the rain will start subsiding in a few hours here, but still pretty steady out there right now when it comes to that rainfall. Definitely need the umbrella, and it is cool out there too, sitting at 12 degrees currently. Just a degree off of our high today of 13 degrees, and yeah, you can see there that is 10 degrees below normal for this time of year. So it was a cool one out there today. This system came in from the north and then started to push its way south. So Lethbridge, you're going to see more rain a little later tonight, though. Lethbridge is not under the rainfall warning. Calgary still is. And these totals, again, when this system is done, it could be anywhere from 50 to 80 millimeters for some communities. So definitely warrants the warning. And then we do have some severe thunderstorm watches as well. And then throwing in some air quality advisories due to ongoing fires in central Saskatchewan that are drifting into parts of Alberta here. That smoke, you could smell it even a little bit in some places in the city tonight too. So we'll keep an eye out on the smoke for tomorrow too, as the system, like I mentioned, continues to move south and ease up throughout the overnight. When we look at the next 24 hours here, there you see for Calgary, start to taper off. Or later this evening and into the morning hours, there might see some trace showers, but looking to pretty much wrap up later tonight. Same setup for Banff, but like I mentioned, Lethbridge, you're going to get a bit more of the heavy rain for the next couple of hours before the system subsides. Tomorrow's looking really nice. After the morning, lots of sunshine out there, and then we see the clouds move in Wednesday, but a pretty stable setup for the next 48 hours here. Your 24-hour forecast brought to you by Action Furnace, fixed right or it's free, dropping down to 9 degrees for your low tonight, up to 18 tomorrow afternoon.
Thank you, Gina. A rainfall warning is in effect for the city of Calgary tonight. It comes after steady showers overnight and all day today. Forecasters do not expect any flooding from the Bow or Elbow rivers, although the levels have risen. A big storm blew through the city last night, pummeling much of North Calgary with a barrage of strong wind and hail. A lot of people spent the day clearing away broken tree branches. And it's a wrap for the Calgary Stampede. Crews are now cleaning up the midway. This year's attendance fell just short of an overall record. It wasn't a perfect event, though. A horse was euthanized after it fractured its leg, and 3 people were assaulted and stabbed on the midway last week. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre was in attack mode today, going after the Prime Minister for promises made about his financial assets and potential conflict of interest. Mark Carney has now disclosed a fuller picture of his investments to the Ethics Commissioner. CTV's Judy Trin reports.
There is a cornucopia of conflicts of interest
in these investments.
The Conservative leader is raising concerns about the Prime Minister's business dealings in his past life. Before entering politics, Mark Carney sat on the boards of Brookfield Asset Management and Stripe, a credit card software company. He has millions of dollars of assets in the two companies, which he put in a blind trust.
I comply with my responsibilities. I comply with the rules well in advance.
New disclosures filed by Carney to the Ethics Commissioner revealed that Brookfield and Stripe own or control more than 100 other corporations, including clean energy businesses and real estate.
The list of potential conflicts goes on and on. How can he possibly be involved in developing a budget when all the tax policies could impact on his investments directly or indirectly?
The Commissioner's office says the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff, Marc-André Blanchard, and Privy Council Clerk, Michael Sabia, will be in charge of screening Carney's government decisions, which Carney says will prevent him from giving preferential treatment to any of the companies while he exercises his official powers and duties.
As long as they're invested in businesses while they're in public office, their investments will taint every decision and cause them to make decisions in their own interests, even if they claim not to be doing that.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says the only way to ensure that the Prime Minister won't breach his ethical guidelines is for Mark Carney to sell all his assets, then hand over control of the funds to a trustee to invest. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Rising precious metal shares helped to lift Canada's benchmark stock index to a new record high today. BNN Bloomberg's Andrew Bell brings us the latest.
Hello there. Toronto's bellwether stock index ended at a new record high today, just below 27,200, even though oil and oil stocks slipped. The Canadian market was boosted by miners as silver traded above $38 US an ounce, near the highest in 14 years. Some investors have switched to the metal as an alternative to gold, which is near record highs. Stocks edged higher on Wall Street after U.S. President Donald Trump indicated that he's open to trade negotiations. Meta Platforms rose. The CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, says his company is building massive data centers to power artificial intelligence. On the markets, the Canadian dollar changed hands at 73 cents US, down a fraction. West Texas Intermediate oil was at $66.89, down $1.56. Our fixed on Western Canadian Select oil has it at $56.47, up $1.47. And the TSX Composite ended at 27,198.85, up just under 176 points to a new record close. That's the latest in business. I'm Andrew Bell of BNN Bloomberg.
Uber is launching a new account for seniors. The company says it is aiming at making getting around easier and more accessible for older adults. Uber says the senior account includes larger text and fewer buttons. It also allows people to easily store frequent destinations. The new account was rolled out across the country today. A drone flying competition for young people on the weekend tested competitors' skills while also encouraging interest in unmanned aerial vehicles. It's called Drone Up Racing. About 40 high school and university students maneuvered small drones through an obstacle course in the Calgary Chinese Cultural Centre. Competitors gain practical experience with drone piloting and learn more about robotics. Calgary-based drone manufacturer Advance UAV hopes Drone Up Racing will return every year during the Stampede. An NFL star returns to Edmonton to pass on football and life lessons to younger players. Stay with us for that. The first ticket packages for the 2026 FIFA World Cup are now on sale with some jaw-dropping prices. FIFA's official partner On Location today released its premium hospitality packages, starting at $2,500, climbing as high as $40,000. The packages include gourmet dining, VIP lounges, and top-tier seats. Fans can expect to see some more affordable ticket options drop this fall. Edmonton's Chuba Hubbard held his annual youth football camp this weekend. The NFL star says he wants to give local kids some new opportunities. It's an experience equally special for his mom. CTV's Connor Hogg explains.
Oh, go up. Everybody touch the bag, everybody touch the bag.
Can I headbutt my head on there?
No, you can't. That's going to hurt you.
Young football prospects descended on the Jasper Place Bowl Sunday morning for training camp. The camp is in its third year, and it's run by Carolina Panthers running back and Edmonton native Chuba Hubbard. For Hubbard, it's an opportunity to give back.
Obviously, I was in their shoes at one point, and I didn't have these opportunities, and I realized, how far they go and the lengths they go. So it's a special moment.
Nice tackle. Yes. Tackling, passing, teamwork, and fitness drills, all on the curriculum. Other athletes from the NFL, CFL, and Division I coach the youngsters. While football is the focus, Hubbard hopes any lessons learned here lead to broader benefits.
Whether kids after this want to play football or not, I just want to give them the opportunity to have fun, be around other kids, compete, and also be around some great people. So I think if they just get something positive out of it, that's the most important thing.
Seeing my son out there making a difference in our community and our family means the world to me.
The camp is a family affair in more ways than one. Hubbard's mom, Candace, watches from the sidelines as her son gives others the opportunities she had to find for him.
No stress for the parents of, big costs of camps. It's very special. Words can't even describe. Every camp I tear up because it's just amazing to see how happy the parents and the children are and what a difference it makes.
A camp like this in Edmonton for free, a labor of love for the Hubbards.
Seeing how much fun they have and how much they appreciate it, it just humbles you.
Hubbard and his family plan to continue the training camps every year and also hope to expand them to other cities. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Well, they had the perfect day for a camp like that, too. Boy.
Exactly, yeah. And I know we've been talking a lot about the weather, obviously the rainfall warning and great visuals of just that storm when it moved through with the hail. But I got another angle of this storm here for your weather window. This is from the Stampede grounds. Totally just grazed by the grounds. If you're in the southwest, you didn't really get impacted from this system, but what a stellar shot that is of what the storm cell as it passed through the northwest and northeast quadrants. And of course, your weather window is brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors, crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, and Alberta's climate. We get a bit of a break from the active weather here. Lots of sunshine on tap for tomorrow afternoon, but we're still a little cool out there for the week. Slightly below seasonal. Normally is 23 for your highs, so we get up to 21 on Wednesday, and then we can see another round of wicked weather move through starting on Thursday and really carrying on, Tara, right through into Friday and Saturday as well. So yeah, keep the umbrella handy, I think, for the next couple of days here.
Thank you, Gina, and thanks for your company tonight. Have a terrific evening. We'll see you again tomorrow.